We're on page 255. Imkonam esrog sheroi lotzis bo bitzimtzum. Person purchases an esrog, it just makes the minimum size of what a valid esrog is, a kosher esrog is. Gochu kebeya mutzum tzemes. It has to be minimally the size of an egg, the esrog. So he purchases something exactly that size. So we speak at Heders. The person says, well, factually, it meets the grade. I mean, is that the way you're supposed to do a mitzvah, just to meet the grade? Or are you supposed to do a mitzvah in the most elaborate way? Or more elaborate? What? Goes to buy before the Chag. He's going to buy an esrog. How much did he spend on the esrog? Correct. It could be even on Chol Hamoed. No. Then he comes upon an esrog which is larger. But of course it's more costly. Mitzvah lahosevat shlish. There's a mitzvah to add, cost-wise, a third of the original value. To add. Milagav b'dmei arishon. K'dei lachlifo b'yosed noer. To exchange it for something which is more beautiful. This is the concept of hiddur mitzvah. Zekei levan vei. When you do a mitzvah, it has to be done. The Chofetz Chaim cites regarding Chanukah now that if a person could afford, again, not as an obligation, to buy a menorah made of silver, that's hiddur mitzvah. You're doing the mitzvah, even though the mitzvah is the lighting of the candles. The mitzvah is not the receptacle in which the lights are contained in. But nevertheless, since it enhances the lighting, that's hiddur mitzvah. That's hiddur mitzvah. Let's say you're able to use quality oil or inferior oil, where it burns more clearly. We're not talking quality eating. You'll use the best quality oil for eating. But regarding burning, the flame doesn't smoke. There's no hiddur there. There's no hiddur. What's the point? I mean, you want to use it, you could use it, but that's not hiddur. Hiddur means it has to manifest itself, that when you look at it, you see the difference. If you have two esrogim initially, and one is more beautiful than the other, we'll see what this Yeshomrim is. Let's see the Mishna Berura. To fully appreciate the understanding of these two positions, Agdim Madisa b'Gemara. He's going to introduce it with an introduction what the Gemara says. Hiddur mitzvah. Hiddur mitzvah, when you do a mitzvah in a more enhanced, elaborate way, at shlish b'mitzvah. Upirshu b'shem Rabbeinu Tam. So Rabbeinu Tam explains, V'adei Rishona sheniskar b'Shulchan Aruch. This is the first opinion mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch. Sheinu rotzla b'sheish lefonav shnei esrogim. O shnei sifrei Torah. He has two esrogim before him. He has a question, which one should I buy? Should I buy A or B? Or two sifrei Torah, one is more beautiful than the other. V'echrohodu yos michaveru. She'itztorech machmas mitzvahs hidur lehosavat shlish b'mekach. So for the sake of hiddur mitzvah, you should add a third of the value when you purchase the more beautiful one. 1 second. He says, if that's the case, there's no end to it. Right? There's always something better. Right? So where do you start? Do you start from the least? Do you start from the middle? Do you start from the end? I mean, there's different grades. He initially has something. So now, where do we begin? We begin, you have something. And now the question is, upgrading from where you're at. I own an esrog, and now I'm able to upgrade. To what degree am I able to upgrade? So let's say the upgrade is more than a third of the value of the first esrog. You don't have to upgrade. But if it's a third, then you have to upgrade. But there's a starting point. The starting point is you already own an esrog. Okay? Because we're concerned. What's the reason? Because since you're dealing with an esrog mitzumtzum, you're barely at the level where it's kosher. We're talking about the man himself has something which is at the most minimal level. So we want you to upgrade to the point where you're out of the danger zone. Even if you already purchased the first one, 1 second. Let's say he has two. He has one at the most minimal level. He doesn't have multiple choices. We're saying even if he owns it. I really don't understand Rabbeinu Tam's issue over here. Meaning from the most minimal level, you have to upgrade a third. That's it. If the most minimal level makes the grade, you have to go up a third of that original of the least. You want to do more, you're welcome to do more. But as an obligation of Hodor, you don't have to go beyond the most minimal up a third to the next level. I mean, he says there's no end to it. Of course there's no end to it. But we're talking about as an obligation. You want to enhance, you can enhance, continue enhancing. But factually, you're not obligated to. Here, the proper thing is, from the most minimal level, upgrade it a third. Esrog shorei lotzis b'tzimtzum. I'm Mogen Avrom shemtzad lav dafke esrog du adin sefer Torah o shofer chdome shekono voy rak bo kishir mitzumtzum. Vakach nizdamado acher shu godel b'shuro. Mitzlach lifo losef olav at shlish. Milagav. What does it mean? A third milagav from the out. It literally means from the outside. Imakot nibkar b'sheish. If, let's say, the smaller esrog sells for six kopecks, or $6, Yosef Shnei Dinarim, right? You had a third. 6, it's a third. Dainu Shlish Toch Hadomim, a sixth of the number. You have 6, a third, so it's 2. Ushlish Milbar, Nikro Shcholek Adom Lishnayim. What does labar mean? You take the number, split it. Let's say it would be 6. So it's 3 and 3, and you'd add another 3. That would be labar. Correct. So over here, the shlish was speaking, it's milagav. It's the lesser amount. It's a third of the cost. No. After everything's said and done, you added a third of what it is. It was worth 6, so if you divide. Yeah. Correct. There are others, even though the Mechaber says it's the lesser amount, others say you should add the greater amount. Dalid, Ran Vuva Bir Agro, Rukech, Ishlachmir. Okay? Gedei Lachlifo. It says you could trade it in. You have the small esrog and you're able to exchange it. What happened? You can't exchange it. So now you're going to be spending another $8. You paid 6. So if you can exchange it, you're adding another 2. But if the only way you could get another one is you have to buy another one, you're going to have the lesser and the larger, so you're spending another $8. Right? He says, the seller says, look, you want another one? I'll sell it to you. I'm not taking any trade-ins. Right? He's not obligated. If you'd exchange it and it's only costing me another 2, then you should exchange it. Unless he could sell off the smaller one for what he paid, and he'll take that and add 2 and he'll buy the better quality. Sheishlo, Shemotzi Shnei Esrogim. Look, you come from Munkach. Okay, so I understand that. I had an uncle. He would go. I'm going back in the 50s, Canal Street. He would go an hour before they closed shop. An hour before. And he would pride himself. He paid $3 for the whole set. You should see what that set looked like. You know what a Geschlogene Hoshaina looks like. A beaten, after you finish on the Shana Rabbah, hitting it to the floor, that's what it looked like. His 4 species. Okay, and he prided himself that he paid $3 for it. He came from a city not too far from Mukach also. Zekele van Veu. Okay? No, throughout. Even rabbinical, Hanukkah. There's a mitzvah of a hiddur. Same thing. Rabbinical, 7 days. You have an additional. Rabbinical, whatever. So, there's a mitzvah, rabbinical. According to the second opinion. First opinion. No. He's mixing it up. You heard a piece of Torah, and from that he's built on it. There's a famous argument, David. There's a famous argument between Mechaber and Ramah. There's a Brisker Rav on this. Brisker Rav. His son came home from the yeshiva. He shared it with him what he learned in the yeshiva. There's a famous Brisker Rav. It has to do with the Gemara in Shabbos. It has to do with Daf Yomi too. That when you circumcise a child, so you have to remove the foreskin. What happens if the moel did a sloppy job? He left some tissue. The child's considered circumcised, but he left some tissue. So the question is, do you go back and remove, after the meal is done, do you remove that extra tissue to perfect it? Wait. No. Is it a Shabbos question, or it's a question even during the week? So the way Rashi learns, it's a Shabbos question. The Torah only allows you to violate Shabbos to have the child circumcised. So if it's one action which is causing the child to go from an uncircumcised state to a circumcised state, so the Torah allows you to remove all the skin, even though you could have stopped at a certain point, right? You're not obligated because it's considered one action. But let's say you cut away most of it with child's, and then you removed your hand. Now you realize there's something left, and you want to perfect it. You're not permitted to go back. Okay, so Rashi learns it's purely a question of Shabbos, violating Shabbos. The Rambam learns not this way. It's a question during the week. The mitzvah of hiddur, you're going back because of Zekele van Veu to hiddur. You want to do the mitzvah more perfectly. Hiddur is when you do the mitzvah, you should do it in the most perfect way. Once the child's already classified as circumcised, there's nothing to enhance any longer. Child circumcised. Torah says when you do the mitzvah, do it in the most elaborate way. But if the child's already circumcised, going back, the mitzvah is already completed. You're following? So therefore, the concept of hiddur no longer has any relevance. So that's the question. In terms of everybody lighting for themselves, what's the obligation? If the obligation is, let's say, to light just one set of candles, so the mitzvah is already fulfilled. So when the second person now goes and lights, what are you accomplishing? Accomplishing nothing. Because the mitzvah already, it's post-mitzvah. It's not doing the mitzvah. If you want to do the mitzvah in the most quality way, so the mitzvah is being done in a more elaborate way. But post-mitzvah, now you want to add, you can't discuss adding any longer. So that there's an argument. Do you light one set of candles for the whole household, or each person lights for himself? And that's the discussion over here. So if you learn it's a Shabbos question, we could talk about hiddur even post. Even going back after the mitzvah is done to perfect the mitzvah. But if you say the Gemara speaks about during the weekday, the way the Rambam learns, once the mitzvah is already fulfilled, the concept of hiddur no longer has any relevance. It's not, but that's the question. Is when the Gemara says you don't go back, it's purely a Shabbos question. It's not. Everybody agrees it's not permitted. That nobody argued, but the question is, what is the Gemara speaking about? If it's being only Shabbos, that means if it would be during the weekday, you would go back. So you see, even post mitzvah, there is an issue to go back and perfect something. But if you learn the Gemara, when it speaks about going back, has nothing to do with Shabbos. It's speaking about how to address a mitzvah. So once the mitzvah is completed, the concept of hiddur no longer has any relevance. So from there, you're able to draw. Once the mitzvah is done, for other people to light for the sake of hiddur, it has no value any longer.
How does one have more than one person lighting?
That's why Sfardim, they have one set of candles for the whole house for that reason. So I'm just explaining it to you. Rashi learns the Gemara speaking only Shabbos. Because we hold la halacha, even after the mitzvah is done, you still could talk about Hider. That's the machlokas. Is it Shabbos or is it a weekday discussion? Right, that's the discussion. So the person who lights, let's say even the one person who lights, let's say you light, and then you have to go seek out more oil for the second candle. See, when you light, normally you light one right after another. So it's one action. So that's similar to one act of circumcision. But let's say he only has enough oil, and he wants to, 5 minutes later, he's going to get more oil, and add it to the second candle. It's over already. You already did the mitzvah. It's like withdrawing your hand. Now you want to go back again. Heater has no relevance any longer. Okay?